Welcome to ePadasala lecture series in computer science. In this particular module, we are going to discuss problems that are related to greedy approach. Last module, we were discussing the fundamentals of greedy approach and we discussed some problems. In this module, we are going to discuss two further problems in greedy approach. The learning objectives of this particular module is to review the concept of greedy approach. We are going to discuss about one important problem in computer science, that is called the optimal merge problem. We are going to discuss about the shortest path algorithm that is designed by Dijkstra, which is a classical example of greedy approach. Last module we were talking about greedy approach. Probably you can recollect that I was telling you that greedy approach is more suitable for solving optimization problems. So, I was telling you that greedy approach is more suitable for problems where sequential decisions needs to be taken, and normally the greedy approach works well and sometimes it may fail also. But since greedy approach gives faster algorithms and near optimal solutions for most of the problems, greedy approach is very popular. So, today we are going to discuss about the optimal merge algorithm, so which roots from the fundamental concept of linear merging. The problem of linear merging is like this: we are given two sorted lists L1 and L2. L1 and L2 have got elements like A1 to AN and B1 to Bn. So, the problem is we have to merge the list into a single sorted list. In this context only we encounter an important problem called optimal merge problem. In optimal merge problem, we are having n sorted list and each sorted list is having a length of mi. So, the optimal merge problem can be stated like this: what is the optimal sequence of the merging process to merge all these n lists into one sorted list? So, here the important words are optimize. Whenever we have a problem where we have to optimize some factor like maximization of profit or minimization of some effort, we can state that problem as an optimization problem. This is called a optimal merge problem because we are trying to optimize so that we can use the minimum effort to merge all the sorted list into a single sorted list. So, the concepts that are related to this particular problem are binary merge tree. So, what we are going to do is we are going to take n sorted files and we are going to merge with the objective of giving a procedure of how to merge all the files. So, in the process we will generate a tree that is called the binary merge tree. In the binary merge tree, so we will have external nodes and internal nodes, and external nodes represent various entities like files and the internal nodes represent the merges of all these entries. So, our objective is to generate a optimal binary merge tree, which can be defined like this. An optimal binary merge tree is a binary merge tree where the sum of the path from the root to the external node is optimal, that is minimum. Suppose if we assume that a node that represent an entity like a file having a file size that contributes the cost by Pi, and the path from the node to the entity is having a length Li, that is the path length, then the problem of optimal merge can be mathematically formulated as minimization of L, where L is nothing but the product of Pi and Li. So, as I just now said, Pi represent the cost, that may be the length of the file, and Li is going to be the path from the root to the given entity. So, this is what we are going to minimize. The tree is going to appear like this, where you can see that we have external nodes that are represented by squares that represents various entities like files and all, and every internal node is shown as a small circle that represents the sum of the size of the files that are merged. So, you can see that this tree is called the binary merge tree. Once we have a binary merge tree like this, we can calculate the cost of the tree using a metric called weighted external path length. So, as I said earlier, this is nothing but the factor called Pi, that is nothing but the weight of the external node I. As I said earlier, this node is a node that represents the file. The cost may be the size of the particular file. This is what we are going to call as weight hereafter, and we are multiplying this with the path length, that is nothing but the distance of the node from the root T. So, that means now you can see that we have a tree, we can call this as a binary merge tree. So, you can see that all the files are represented by squares and internal nodes that are represented by a small circle. So, now you can see that the node 2 is 2 hops from the root. So, that means the path length is going to be 2. So, we can apply the formula, it is a summation of the weight multiplied by the distance. Therefore, it is 2 multiplied by the path length 2 and node 3 that is represented with the length 2 and similarly 5 and similarly 8. You can see that all these nodes are away from the root by 2 hops. So, if you put everything together, then we are getting a value of 36, that is going to be the cost of this particular tree. In other words, using this particular metric, we can compute the cost of this particular tree. So, the same thing we can repeat for more examples. This is another example where you can see that the weighted path length, extended path length is given as what you say, the distance from the root and the weight. So, you can see that it is going to be 33. In other words, the items are same, but there are different ways of construction and every construction yielding a cost. So, the optimization problem is we have to find the optimal merge tree with the least cost. So, this is what this problem is all about. So, we can take one more example. So, you take this particular example where the left part of the slide shows one way of constructing the optimal merge tree. So, that means you have a scenario where you are trying to merge L1 and L2, then you are trying to combine with L3. In this case, the cost is given as 88. On the right hand side, you can see the same elements, but different way of combining. So, in this we are trying to combine L2 and L3 first, then we are trying to combine with L1. So, we can apply the formula and we can compute the cost, and that is going to be 66. So, now we can come to a conclusion that 66 is minimum, therefore, the right tree is an optimal tree compared to the left hand part. So, this is what the conclusion of this particular slide. Fine. Why should we bother about these sort of problems? Because what is the use of this? The applications of this problem are many. Some of the examples are given here, that is it is useful for message coding and decoding. It is also useful for lossy data compression. We will take one simple example of the transmission problem, where we have messages from M0 to Mn-1. Let us assume that the messages do not change and the message is sent with frequency Fi. So, the logic is how to select the message code so that we can minimize the transmission and decoding times. So, we will take one simple example. Let us take 4 messages. So, you can see that this is one way of constructing the tree. So, you can see that the decoding cost is you can see very well, it is 1, that is M0 multiplied by the path length, and 4 multiplied by 2. So, by repeating this, you can see that this is 66. This is going to be the transmission cost, that is nothing but the weighted extended path length. In other words, this problem of transmission is now reduced to the optimal merge tree problem, where we can see that the transmission cost is now represented by the weighted extended path length. So, there are many situations where an optimality really helps. So, that is the reason why we are bothering about this. Let us try to write an informal algorithm for this. The input is going to be M sorted list. So, the output is going to be an optimal two-way merge tree. So, in the first step, what we are trying to do is we are trying to generate M trees, where each tree has got exactly one node with the weight Ni. So, that means if there are 5 elements, then 5 initial nodes are created. Now, only we are coming to the important part of choosing the nodes. here only greedy approach is coming into picture. As we discussed in the last class, we can say that greedy involves local optimal decisions. So, like a greedy man, what I can do now is I can greedily select 2 trees with the minimum weights. As we discussed in the last module regarding the Hoffman code, where we selected symbols with the least frequency, here also we can select 2 trees greedily with the minimal weights. Once we select the nodes, then we can generate a new node by creating a new tree, where this T1 is going to be the left subtree and T2 is going to be the right subtree, and the new node is going to be represented by the sum of the weights of T1 and T2. So, this is going to be your internal node. Now, this T replaces T1 and T2. Now, we have the other symbols like T3, T4 and all. Now, again we can greedily search for nodes and we can start merging this. This process can be carried out until we get a situation where you have only one tree. In other words, if there is only one tree left, then we stop and return the binary merge tree, otherwise we are going to step number 2. So, this is the algorithm using which this problem can be solved. Now, we will take one simple example. Let us take 6 sorted list with lengths 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and 3. So, now you can see that these are the various entities. So, now I am greedily selecting 2 elements. So, that means 2 and 3, that is 5. Then I am combining that with 5 to get 10. Then next I am combining that with 7 to get 17. Then you have a scenario of 11, 13 and 17. So, in the next step I am combining this 11 and 13 to get 24, and finally, I can combine everything to get 41. So, this is what you say the optimal merge tree that is obtained using this particular procedure. So, this is the greedy algorithm of constructing the optimal merge tree. What is the time complexity of this? The time complexity is order of n log n. This algorithm can be implemented using the same approach as we did for Hoffman code. You can probably recollect in Hoffman code we declared a priority queue using heap. Heap data structure can return maximum or minimum depending on whether it is a min heap or maximum heap. So, we can push all the elements into the heap, then we can extract 2 minimum elements, then we can combine, then again we can put that back into the priority queue. So, we can use this till only one item is present in the priority queue. The formal algorithm is not repeated here because it is exactly similar to the Hoffman code that we discussed in the last module. So, that is left as an exercise to you, and you can see that the cost of the construction is log n and since there are n items, the complexity of this algorithm is going to be order of n log n. So, with this this problem is over. Next we will move on to the next important problem called the shortest path algorithm. So, this is the famous photograph of Edgar Dijkstra. So, Edgar Dijkstra designed a algorithm for finding the shortest path. In our day to day life, we encounter this problem many times. Often we are wondering what is the shortest path between two locations. For example, what is the shortest path between Delhi and Chennai. So, this is a sort of daily problem we face. In computer science, we have lots of applications of this problem. This problem is utilized as a prototype for router design like internet packet routing. It is used in flight reservations, it is used for finding the driving directions. So, there are n number of applications are there of this particular famous problem. Fine. What is the idea behind this? The idea is very simple, find the shortest path from the source. So, one is given as the source, then find the second shortest path. Let us say if there is a tie, then you arbitrarily try to resolve the tie, then repeat this for finding the third shortest path and repeat the process until all the shortest path between the source and destination are found. This is the idea behind the Dijkstra's shortest path algorithm, which is also called as the single source shortest path algorithm. So, how to solve this? The first step is we have to model this problem as a graph. So, we can take the problem of railway path finding between a source and destination, means we can model that as a graph. So, every city represents a particular node and connectivity between the city becomes the edges, and we can assign the weight based on the nature of the problems. Say for example, railway times, telephone communication cost, etc. Map distance can be used as what you say the weight of the edges. So, the problem becomes something like this, given a directed graph and a single node called source, find the shortest path connected to the source. So, this is what the formulation of the shortest path algorithm. So, assumptions are graph is connected, the edges are undirected, the edge weights are non-negative. This assumption is very important because the edges can also be directed, but one important assumption is which is very much important is the non-negativity of the edges. So, what is the informal algorithm for this? Assume that we are given a graph. So, the graph consists of two components, a vertex and edges. So, every edge is having a weight. So, the input of this particular problem is going to be the adjacency matrix. So, of the graph. So, that means W is going to be the matrix with W of I comma j represents the weight of the edge I comma j. Its value is going to be infinity if there is no edge is present between the source and destination, and the output is we are going to generate the distance matrix between 2 to n, assuming that 1 is going to be the source that is selected. Then our objective is to generate the distance matrix where we are going to give the distance of every node from the source. So, the informal algorithm is going to be like this. Since we have chosen the first node as the selected node, all other nodes becomes C. So, now we are initializing for I equal to 2 to n. So, distance is initialized to the values of the matrix W. So, that means all the weight matrix is copied and initialized as the initial value. Then we are going to repeat the process of finding the shortest distance. So, that means we are going to repeat this for n minus 2 times. Again greedy approach is coming into picture because now we are aimed at finding the shortest path. So, that means we have to find a node that is having the minimum distance from the source. Suppose let us say if the node 2 and 3 are considered, if node 2 is having the shortest distance, then 2 is added. So, that means now you can see that the node V that is having the shortest distance from the source is selected and it is deleted from the set C. So, once we have done that, then we have to update the distance. So, in other words this is called the relaxation, where every node in C, what we are trying to do is, if the distance plus the weight entry between V to W is lesser than distance of W. In other words, if the distance is shorter, then we are going to update that in the matrix and by this process what we are trying to do is, we are ensuring that the value represents the shortest distance from the source. Fine, we will take one simple problem. So, this is the graph that is given. So, you can see that this is a directed graph where you see there are 5 nodes are available and you have connectivity with the weight that is shown there. So, you can see that initially I am choosing 1. So, from the graph I have all the possibilities like 2, 3, 4, 5 with the edge cost as 48, 28, 100 and 8. So, now you can see that the minimum is 8. So, that means the distance between 1 and 5 is minimum. So, therefore, I am choosing the node 5. So, now the node 1 as well as 5 both are available. So, again I am checking which is the nearest one to either node 1 or 5. You can see that the minimum is for the node 4. So, therefore, I am generating the shortest path tree like 1, 5 and 4. So, now only 2 and 3 is there, again the active nodes are 1, 5, 4. So, you can see the minimum is 28. So, that means now this is a tree that is generated, and finally, you have only one node left, that is 2, that is connected to 3. So, this is the shortest path tree that is obtained. So, now the nodes becomes null because we have considered all the nodes, therefore, we exit the process. So, in other words this complexity of this algorithm is n square because the input is going to be the adjacency matrix of entries n square. So, it is an optimal algorithm which generates shortest path always. In short, we can say that the greedy algorithms are used to solve optimization problems. Optimal merge algorithm is very effective, and shortest path algorithm that is designed by Dijkstra is needed by many applications, and greedy approach is very effective in solving these problems. Thank you very much. So, with this greedy approach is coming to an end. So, next module we will talk about a new design paradigm called dynamic programming. Thank you very much.